much has happened since I last saw you. I lost my hammer, like yesterday, so that's still pretty fresh. And then I went on a journey of self-discovery. Hela, the goddess of death, has invaded Asgard.
Oh, I've missed this. Asgard is dead. And it'll be reborn in my image. I thought you'd be glad to see me.
I need to stop her here and now to prevent Ragnarok, the end of everything.
New Zealand filmmaker and performer Taika Waititi makes movies somewhere between reality and absurdist fantasy. His comedy tends to ambush you in sly, deceptively understated ways, but occasionally it also arrives like a pie in the face. When Waititi was announced to direct the new Thor film, his sensibility seemed like a good fit for a studio like Marvel, who seem increasingly aware that audiences like their comic book heroes with tongues firmly in cheek. But the question remained, could he reconcile his humour with the still relatively earnest core of the studio's films? Yes, even Deadpool. Well, the answer is that Thor Ragnarok, which was made largely on the Gold Coast, is both self-effacing and on message. It's a sci-fi fantasy romp that's funny and serious, colloquial and operatic. Despite the trio of in-house Marvel writers who have come to work on this, the film blossoms with Taika's comic tone and timing as well. It feels like he wrote the script himself, and that's a good thing. In the role of Thor, the god of thunder, Chris Hemsworth is clearly in sync with his director's taste. He's at the centre of a continuously evolving plot of snakes and ladders, as much goofball as he is hunk. And all the other actors, from Sam Neill to Anthony Hopkins to Mark Ruffalo, perform with the same playfulness. Tom Hiddleston plays Loki, Thor's slippery, untrustworthy brother, and he's a standout. He helps the film pull off one of its most difficult feats, and that is convincing us that these two siblings, who are poles apart morally and ethically, could ever share a tender bond. And they do share it, however strained. It's no surprise that Waititi, who directed films like Boy and Hunt for the Wilderpeople, is able to bring out a softer side to a Marvel film that's packed with action. The bare bones of the plot of Thor Ragnarok, meanwhile, are meat and potatoes comic book fare. There's an apocalyptic prophecy, a fiery demon, and a grim villain in Thor's sister Hela, goddess of death, played by a glamorously imperious Cate Blanchett, with a magical helmet that spouts black deer horns whenever she's enraged. A showdown with her is inevitable. It remains the film's primary destination. But much of the story sees Thor waylaid in gladiatorial servitude to an evil dictator called the Grand Master. Jeff Goldblum puts a camp spin on this character, and the scenes in his high-tech metropolis where he orders about prisoners and minions does hit a gallows humour sweet spot. Here, Waititi and his collaborators really do look like they're having the most fun. They create a futuristic world that's bursting with colour and carnivalesque characters that reminds you of the most vibrant fantasies in his films like Eagle vs. Shark. His Antipodean outsider irreverence also seems best suited to this extended chapter of the movie, which kicks off, by the way, with the appearance of a leather-clad bounty hunter named Valkyrie, played by Tessa Thompson. She lands her spaceship on a rubbish tip to rescue Thor. Well, that appears to be what she's doing, from a gang of scavengers. She's holding a long neck at the time, and after emerging from the cockpit looking fierce, she unceremoniously falls off the vessel's wing like a messy drunk. Moments like this are just the blend of comic farce and adventure that Waititi promised to deliver. And though he's no slouch with straight-up action sequences, this is what makes the film such a surprise package. You wonder what a director of this calibre might be capable of without the comic book leash, if he was able to make something thematically more daring. Could Taika Waititi match the best of a filmmaker like Terry Gilliam or Luc Besson? Time will tell. For now, we have Thor Ragnarok, possibly the funniest Marvel movie ever. It's out now, everywhere.
We're the same, you and I. Just a couple of hot-headed fools.
Yeah, same. Hulk like fire, Thor like water.
Well, kind of both like fire.
But Hulk like raging fire, Thor like smoldering fire.